and welcome to another episode of the No Ceilings podcast on the Turtlesmith Network. How's it going, Vincent?
All right, how you doing, Courtney?
Doing pretty good. You know, it's football season, so I got my Cowboys.
You got your gear ready, huh?
Absolutely, I'm ready every week.
Oh, don't I know?
Who's your favorite team?
I don't have a favorite team, Courtney. You already know that.
Yeah. Okay, well.
I'm not going to be a Cowboys fan this year. I know you're trying to recruit me, but no.
But why?
There's nothing against the Cowboys. I just don't have a favorite team in football, period.
Okay. Well, I'll let that ride.
Okay.
I will say that the last week has been pretty stressful. I don't know what it is about the kids getting heavily immersed into school and sports and all of that. It just seems like it's really been busy. So
yeah, it is the season for parenting.
Yeah. My daughter's got a birthday coming up this weekend, so it's gonna be pretty busy this weekend.
Oh
so.
Yeah, she always has the best birthday parties too.
We'll see. All right, so today's episode, we are unpacking becoming an expert. The first step being the elevator pitch. You know, we talked about having 4 different types of elevator pitches. We want to be able to really just nail it in 30 to 60 seconds, the information that you are trying to relay to someone that you want to know more about the business that you are either trying to sell or invest in.
Right.
With that being said, the next step, again, is to become an expert. How do you become an expert? The end goal in this is to be able to teach a class and know enough to mentor someone in the industry. I'll say this. First off, I don't know that I want to teach a class.
Okay.
But I would like to be in a place, know enough about my industry that I could be in a place where I can mentor somebody. I think that's good. I actually, as a bail bondsman, we had several people in the office, and some people did come in under wanting some sort of mentorship.
Right.
And so I did enjoy being able to do that and kind of showing them, you know, the ins and outs of the business, assisting them with building out their paperwork, that kind of thing. So I think that is very beneficial to be able to have someone that you can mentor.
Absolutely.
Because it builds trust, you know.
Yeah. And also they say you also learn from teaching others also. So it's always like a give-take type of relationship, being able to mentor other people, especially in the same industry.
Absolutely. So the question becomes, like, how do you become an expert? I think that the best way that John described it was to be a spy.
I like that. Kind of be behind the scenes and just take I say like a over, like kind of looking down at everything. Just try to see how the inner parts of the industry and that business work.
Yeah. Now, I definitely know how to be a spy.
Yeah.
So I can find any and everything. And these days, on the internet, you can find whatever it is that you're looking for. You can dig under any nook and cranny and find anything that you want to know about a business, if that's something that you truly want to do. One of the things that they did say is to know and understand the North American industry's classification system.
Right.
Had you ever heard of that?
No, I never really heard of that. I didn't know there was somewhere that classifies each industry for business.
Yeah. I think I got on the website because I'll be completely honest, I have absolutely never looked up my industry using the classification system. And so in doing that, I used a fake business, so to speak, in order to just kind of look through and see what I could find.
Right.
I used retail and crafting, and I didn't find a lot of information. There is information out there, but when you start really drilling down into the information, you may not find the information that is tailored exactly to your business.
Right.
But when you got a chance to look at it, what did you find?
So when I looked at it from the food service point of view, and I found that there's so many different codes that fall up in that industry. So that you have to really know what part of that industry in food service sales that you want to be a part of. And that helps becoming an expert in doing that step alone will help you kind of refine your ideas about what your service or product is going to be.
Right, like trends and that kind of thing.
Right. So if you want to sell burgers, or you're going to be selling bracelets, or you're going to be selling a service like cleaning services or something like that. Yeah.
It also, I think there's information that you can pay for. I think a lot of people starting out, you don't want to pay for that information if your funds are limited.
Right.
So you want to be very careful with, just really getting in there and figuring out what you can find without having to pay for it.
Right.
Sometimes you may have to pay, $10 or $15. That's no big deal. I don't have a problem with doing that. But the more you dig, I think the more you'll find a lot without having to
pay for something. Yeah, absolutely. Takes a lot of reading.
Yeah.
But that's going to come with business itself. And Scott was talking about earlier. He was talking about being a plumber, and a lot of times you think of a skill, you're just doing that skill.
Right.
You're going to fix the toilet or snake the whatever they do. You know what I'm talking about?
Snake the whatever they do.
Yeah, when
it
gets clogged up and stuff. But you don't think about the business aspect of it. The paperwork, the technology, the tools, and all the equipment and stuff that you need to do the business as well as the job.
Yeah, the truck, the van that you need that carries all of those tools and machines that you need if you have to be on site and really break some stuff down.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean that
software systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best part of what we're doing right now is to be able to put this out there so you can do this on the front end.
Yeah. Many
times, this just as well as I know, that you get in the middle of business and you're learning as you go, and that's just how you learned a lot of things. A lot of these things we've done, elevator pitches, becoming an expert, we've done that. We didn't know that that's what we were doing.
Yep.
But with these steps, we have to really refine that and give you, I like to put it like ammunition to put in your magazine, so when it comes to starting your business, you're hitting that target.
Yeah. I agree. When researching your industry, I think that there are other ways now with having so much information on social media. There's
YouTube,
a lot of different
university.
Yes, there's so many places that you can go to find things. One of the things that I realize is that if you want to get into a specific industry, you can find podcasts where people provide insight.
Yep.
There are I know that there are introverts out there that don't necessarily want to get out and talk to people right off the bat.
Yeah.
They know that at some point they may have to, but in doing that research, they can listen to podcasts and get other people who are in that industry's take on that particular industry.
That's a good point, because like me, myself, I don't have a problem with just getting out and engaging people, but that's not the case for everybody. So that's definitely a good point.
Yeah. There's also trade associations. Excuse me. They have these trade associations. They have, there are like Facebook groups that you can get into. I personally, I am really in a hobby phase, and this crafting stuff is pretty big for me. And so I find myself getting into like the Cricut crafting Facebook group, or the Black Girls Cricut Crafting Facebook group. And there are other like TikTok people that I follow that show you how to do little things, and you're like, oh, I have that. I have that stuff in my closet. Why do I have?
Quick question. What is Cricut crafting?
The Cricut machine. You haven't seen the Cricut machines where you can make, like, you can use that to make like iron-on vinyl, like for T-shirts and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So the what the machine does, so you come up with this, you come up with a idea. You put it into your Cricut software. You take that information and it feeds it into the Cricut after you've designed it, and it prints out. It cuts the way that you want to put it on. It uses vinyl to cut it to the way that you want it, and then you iron it on your shirt.
Oh, okay.
Or you can do like a print and cut where it prints out on your printer and using like transfer software or transfer paper to do it. I'm not an expert at it. It's just like I like to wear and have things that other people don't have.
Yeah.
And so I create things on my own just for me to do.
Yeah. Well, fashionista type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So anyway, you want to know, another thing that you want to do is know the industry terms and how to apply them. For example, what we just said. You said, what is a Cricut? Like, I said I use transfer paper. I used a lot of terms that you didn't know, and so I had to explain that to you.
Yeah.
But you need to know those terms and know how to apply them in your industry, because sometimes there are terms that are used in certain industries, multiple industries that do not mean the same thing.
Right.
So another thing is also understanding the equipment and systems that you need. I think a lot of people, when you get into business, you don't realize, and I'll go back to using bail bonds as an example. When you start a business, the first thing I did, I said, okay, I can get this money. I'm gonna get this money. And so in trying to get the money, I went out and I wrote my first bond, and I collected the money from it, but I didn't have a system to process my paperwork and keep track of everything. Nobody told me. Now, granted, I feel like I knew this business. Nobody told me every month you're going to have to file a report with the state. Every month you have to file a report with the state, an accurate report. Because when you go down to the jail and you write that bond and you pass that paperwork to them, they have a copy of that paperwork. The courthouse gets a copy of that paperwork. Then you have a copy of the paperwork as well to keep track of. All of that has to match. And so for a long time, when I realized I had to do this after I'd already made and spent the money, I realized that I used an Excel sheet. I started out with an Excel sheet to track that information and keep track of it every month and submit my report. Over time, though, I was not the only person working for my business. And so I had hired someone to come in and run the office. And that lady needed a system in order to do that. And I'll be honest, Excel, it does a great job when it's just you. But over time, you want to grow. And you want to have more efficient processes in place in order to make the job easy for whomever you've hired to come in and do that job. And so there were some systems that I had to get. I had to get a system that I used to track the paperwork, to track my co-signers, to track the property, to do background checks. There's a lot of things that come with that. There's also,
so it got very complex very quickly after that.
There is one of the systems that I had installed was a system where they had to come in, and the computer that I used had to be behind a closed door that locks. And because you are doing background checks and you've got people's social security numbers and stuff that you're inputting, and so it was really important for them to know that the system that we used to input that information was secure. And so when you get into certain businesses, you want to know like what software systems are available for the industry in which you're getting into.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Courtney. How had you known what you didn't know at that time, how would you have handled that going into that?
Well, I think that for me, I I'll be honest, it took me a few years to get to that point.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I would have done earlier, I think I would have been able to kind of map everything out a little bit better, and prepare for administrative in any administrative task that would require any type of software. What software do I need? What equipment do I need? But again, that would have come in my research.
Right.
I didn't do the research, and
Right,
so
right.
I learned that you learn it as you go and you make the adjustments. But I don't think that the first few years it worked out because it was just me. But if I would have had all of this research done prior to doing to having to know that I needed it, I think that the way that it would have gone was, oh wow, wait a minute, I need funding for this business.
Right.
Because I didn't need funding. You get what I'm saying? I never got a loan for that business.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, wait a minute, I need funding. I need this, I need that. I'm going to have to have a brick and mortar, place and space to be able to house all of these files and these things. It took, I think I was probably about 4 years in before I realized that I needed all of that stuff and that I needed somebody to be in the office. Being a bail bondsman is a 24 hours a day, 7 day a week business. And so over time, it does get tiring.
Yeah.
And so you do want to bring in people that can assist you if needed. And so when I got to that point where I was tired and I was like, wow, I got to hire somebody to kind of help me with some of this stuff, that's when I kind of realized that I needed some of those things.
Okay.
Yep. Where are we at now? All right. I think it's good to find mentors in the business. With bail bonds, I definitely had a mentor.
Yeah.
My dad was a bail bondsman. Not only that, he knew so many people in the industry, and so it was easy for me to jump into that.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you, if you can find somebody that you have watched over the years get into the industry that's in the industry that you want to get into, definitely reach out to them and connect with them and ask them if they'd be willing to mentor you.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised at how many times somebody will take you on as a mentee just by simply asking. People are waiting for those opportunities a lot of times to be able to just pour into somebody like that.
Yep. There are also for minorities, there are different networks for women and minorities that you can reach out to. They'll be different for every area that you're in. I think for us, there are you can go on ok.gov and there's information to research and find that kind of relates to minority businesses and businesses for women. There's also, you can find your minority chamber of commerce or your black chamber of commerce that will provide you with information as well. One of the things that I think is super important is to not skip this step.
Yeah.
No,
seriously.
Because it's so valuable. I don't think people realize the value in doing the research. Is it boring? Yes. 100%.
Are you going to make any money right then and there? No. But that research on the front end is so pivotal to the success of your business, and even knowing if you want to even be in the specific industry that you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Once you do that research, you may tweak some things and rethink some things and be a lot more better off than just diving in head first to a shallow pool.
Not only that, if you jump into the business and then you go talking to somebody about your business that you think that you know everything about, and then they start asking you questions about the business and your ability to do the job or answer the questions, and you don't have those answers, I mean, that's going to leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth, and you definitely don't want to do that.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So I know that for us as minorities, we find it hard to find a lot of information relating to minorities. But the crazy thing is, there is so much out there. There really is a lot of information out there that we can use. Like I said, I went on ok.gov and I found information on minority business certification programs. You know, I never knew that existed. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is really good information. And so there's information out there. You just have to really take time and research in your area, whatever area that is. Take time and research your industry, and if you are a woman or a minority, what grants or opportunities are out there for you.
There's a ton of grants available that just get overlooked because it is a daunting process to write a grant proposal. But if you go to turtlesmith.com, we'll have some tools and stuff that'll help you get that done.
Message. All right. Do you have any other information that you'd like to share regarding the becoming an expert?
No, I did want to talk about some business struggles, though.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to business struggles.
Yeah. So I was just thinking as we were talking about bail bonding and not having funding. A lot of times that's a struggle for minorities. If you don't have the perfect credit or co-signer or just rich, then where's that funding going to come from? You know, many times I probably saved up a certain amount of money to be able to start a business, and that's just what we got started with, and we were able to make money and stuff like that. However, had we had the funding, you can scale a lot more, you can hire more people, and you're not just buying a job. A lot of times we get into business and like the plumber, you know, that's your job every day.
He's a handyman.
Yeah, you gotta get up every morning. You gotta take those emergency phone calls for those backed up toilets. You know, as you get older, you may not necessarily want. You may not necessarily want to do that. So you want to be able to scale your business to hire people to do those things for you. You are so silly.
Taking those calls for those backed up toilets.
It's a serious business, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Got it. You got to plunge it. Y'all remember that? What movie is that from?
Booty Call.
Oh, Lord. You got
Jamie
to plunge
Foxx
it.
and the other guy. Can't think of his name. Tommy Davidson. Hilarious.
Check that movie out. Or don't. Or don't. To each his own. Yeah. So business struggles. Yeah.
So that I feel like that's one of the biggest struggles. And then after that is when you talk about becoming an expert. Long ago, a lot of that information wasn't available. You know, it's a lot more, like you were saying at the beginning, like a lot more information is available. You got to know where to look, and you have to be diligent in your search and for your industry and really dig deep for that information. Yeah. And that's one of the struggles I found with myself is just not becoming an expert on my industry before getting into that industry.
And I also think that even though that's a struggle, like a solution to that struggle for anybody is to just kind of leverage your online learning, you know, to be able to look for any local workshops here. You may find workshops at, like, for instance, Tuttle, Metro Tech. Yep. There's a lot of like free workshops that are happening. You can go to what is the website? Is it
Eventbrite?
Eventbrite. You can go there and find like different workshops that people are giving, and I think that those will be very beneficial in you gaining more knowledge, you know, in your industry as you work towards the goal of becoming an expert.
Which brings up another point too, like free seminars. Those are priceless.
Yeah, I agree. What was the last free seminar that you did for your business?
It's probably been a little bit. I did a seminar in Dallas, Texas, and it was a 3-day business seminar, and it was just phenomenal. So many like I got to see Zig Ziglar.
And it was free?
Yeah, it was free.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, man, it was awesome. It was some years ago, but it was a free seminar that I was able to attend. It was Rudy Giuliani. It was a lot of people there. What do you call them? Motivational speakers and stuff. Man, priceless. Like, it just gets you so pumped up. Like, I'm talking about you running out that door like through the glass, like ready to go. So yeah, that stuff is priceless, man.
That is definitely something that you can do. Mm-hmm. Networking with industry professionals. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Like, for me, I think that it's easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Some people don't want to. They feel like you're their competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you break down those barriers? Even if you guys are in the same like networking groups and you're supposed to be networking, I think that some people may find it hard to break into an industry and try to become an expert without them feeling like they're in competition with somebody else that may be doing something similar to what they're doing.
Man, I know exactly what you mean when you say that, and it's unfortunate, but you just have to really, if that person is the door closed, is the door open somewhere else. You know, you can't really let that discourage you from your networking, because it's such a vital part to the growth of your business. And everybody's not like that.
Yeah.
You know, you will find somebody that will take you under their wing.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times you can just learn just by being the spy, like you said. Like, many times I read books and audios or just watch, different motivational speakers or people of stature. It's a big thing for people making videos now. Yeah. And you just watch that stuff, you know. After you watch it so many times, you can kind of pick up their speech pattern and their thought pattern. That helps mentor, you know. That, like, what would this person say about this? And maybe you've seen something that they said, you know, like, they would probably say something along the lines of this. Yeah. You know, and that's another very helpful tool for mentorship. Yeah.
I think that sometimes I think that some people have to understand that there's, in certain industries, business may be limited. Mm-hmm. But I also believe that in a lot of the majority of industries, there is a lot of business to go around for everybody. Mm-hmm. If you just really tap in and think outside of the box, you can find a way to tap into an industry and not step on somebody else's toes.
Absolutely.
You know, you just have to really take the time and work at it. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's one of the things that, you know, I don't feel like as a bail bondsman, I never felt like anybody was stepping on my toes. Mm-hmm. I felt like there was enough business out there for everybody.
Definitely in Oklahoma.
Well, message.
They say you come on vacation, leave on probation. We come to Oklahoma. Just saying. I know it's definitely enough business in that industry.
What Krishan Rock, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is.
I think she's still locked up too.
You know, she got out.
Did she?
She got out just recently. She got a chance to say happy birthday to her baby. So,
well, congratulations.
Congratulations to Krishan.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say there is enough business to go around, and I think that when a area is saturated, you do it causes you to have to think outside of the box. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really important that you do that, not just when the area is saturated, but you do that on the front end with the research.
Right, and that which brings up another good point for me is when it is saturated, you can use that as an opportunity to solve another problem that may be in that industry. Yeah. You know, and come with a whole different niche that could help everybody in that industry.
Yep, very much so. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have any other thoughts on business struggles?
No. Mm-mm.
All right. Well, let's move into our final segment, which is actionable advice.
Okay.
This is the segment where we challenge you to go out and do something. So, in this segment, we just want to have you to dedicate time daily to your research. I don't know how long you have to research. I mean, it just depends on the industry that you're in. But definitely dedicate some time each day to your research until you get all of the information that you need. You want to check out the competitors, make sure that you know what your competitors are doing and if they're even making money in the industry that you're in.
Right.
If you get a chance, join an industry association. Do some research on minority business groups or just business groups
Right.
in that industry to access resources and find a mentor. You know, and then teach others what you've learned to reinforce your expertise. So once you've gotten to the point that you consider yourself an expert, each one, teach one.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I just made that up on the spot. I did. Each one, teach one. That's what they say online. So, but that's all we have for today. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head with that one.
All right, I think we're trucking along here. So we are learning as we go as well. I think this is very valuable information, and I hope that you all out there are learning information from us. If not, we'd love to hear your feedback. And as always, please go to turtlesmith.com to find more information. And thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.